Hi, I'm Alex Twinspark. Welcome to my channel. I don't know if I'm putting this on YouTube or TikTok or anywhere yet, but we'll find out. This is a new thing I'm trying, much in the line with sort of the one takes that the smoking tyre does, where I hop in a car at one of the Twinspark meets, we go for a quick drive, and I just sort of film my first thoughts. This is Will. I'm in his Supercharged NB1 or NB2?
NB1.
NB1 MX5.
It's a 1.8.
1.8. So, do you mind just sort of filling me in on what has been done mechanically with this car?
Mechanically, alright, I've got a Jackson Racing supercharger. What I don't know the exact power. I've got Mazda R supportive coilovers to lower it so it's more stable. It has a set of Pilot Sport 3s on some JR11s, I think they are. I can't remember the brand. And yeah, there's not much. Oh, it's got front and rear strut races, and that's basically it. Just stiffen it up and make it go.
So, in effect, it's like the regular MX5. I'm gonna have to close your window because it is going to get too loud. Now, one thing that the MX5 does not have is air conditioning, and it's muggy in here today. We also can't have the fans on because it'll be too loud.
Okay.
Prepared to roast.
I'll be waiting.
I've actually driven this car a few times now. I do quite like it. The thing with the MX5 I've always found, very good to handle, very easy to play with, but stock, I think they lack a bit of power. The NB is not so bad. The NA is particularly bad for it because there's no weight to it at all. But basically what this is, with all of those mods, is a slightly, stiffer, slightly more sort of setup, and a lot more powerful. And it makes for good effects. First of all, a bloody good noise.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I've got a full custom 2.5-inch exhaust.
It's
a main attraction. I forgot.
that, and it's surprisingly good condition.
Yes.
So some of you might remember the Scotland footage we had. This was up in Scotland with us, and the red and everything about it. This car is in absurdly good condition, and we accidentally put a hole in it, didn't we?
Yeah, it's 30,000 miles when I bought it a year ago. It's now on 41. No rusts. And
oh yeah, rub that in.
Put a hole in. Someone put a hole in it in Scotland.
We love you, Kieran.
Yeah.
Love you. Oh no, can't go into that gear.
No.
Sorry. I haven't missed third yet.
No.
When we took it down for like a sort of a shakedown run, Joe did miss third. I haven't yet. But we're gonna find out if we do. The other thing is, I'm a bit terrified of pushing this car too hard because it has no ABS.
No ABS, no traction control, no.
Oh no, I missed third.
Missed third?
No.
Oh.
Finally happened. Every time I drive an MX5, there are issues. It is too small. There's no space this way. I know my friend Dalen in America has got skinny doors. He's taken the side panels off, if you will, and just put special just metal in there, and that improves the space. The MR2 is a lot spacier inside, but MX5s, they're just good. They did a really good job out of the factory with these. There's a reason why they are as popular as they are. I know everyone likes to dog on them because there's more powerful, but that cornering on them, man.
Yeah, they.
It's a lovely little raspy noise. It's funny as well because this is a bit more of a technical road. And I could push it a lot harder, probably. I'm not going to because it is against the law to do so. And I have never broken the law or a speed limit once in my life. Never. So I'm not going to do that. But you're not really asking that much of the car. It's really not difficult to maneuver these. I will say the brakes are not confidence-inspiring. It doesn't
because it doesn't have ABS.
It's not even so much the ABS. It's just they don't grip as nicely as I'd like. I'm gonna wait till we're just after. My glasses are now fogging up. Yeah, for context, but it's not that hot outside, but the interior of this is.
They get really warm.
Plenty of power to overtake. And it's instant response as well, because this is cable throttle still, isn't it?
Yeah, cable throttle.
So yeah, as much as I know electronic throttles can be programmed in really good ways, I do love the responsive snappiness of a pothole. Jesus, let's go, come on. And I'm going to back off because it gets to a real hill up ahead.
Oh, this thing's fine with hills. Never Scotland. Alex, why aren't you speeding up? My foot to the floor.
Unfortunately, I had a roof box, and what I didn't realise was my car was grossly misaligned. A lot of sports cars, especially small sports cars, they feel very skittish at low speeds. At high speeds, sorry. When you're bombing it up like just there, it feels like the whole car's shaking apart. This doesn't.
It did. When I had the stock suspension on there,
yes,
70 down a motorway felt like I was doing 110 with everything gonna fall off.
Oh.
Yes.
Whereas I think with the shocks you put on, what shocks you say you got?
Mazda are supportive.
Mazda are supportive.
Low enough to where it handles great, but they're not too low because it's a daily used car.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I was going to say. Is it's a similar thing to my Alpha, where it's lower, but it's not to a point where driving it every day becomes uncomfortable. It's, I guess, comfortable in here. That's the weird thing is, and I find this a lot with small sports cars. Everyone thinks that they're going to be uncomfortable because they're low and whatever. Generally quite comfortable cars. The MR2, before my shocks all blew on it, one of the most comfortable cars I've ever owned.
Well, I managed to do, what, 7 odd hours to Scotland up in this?
Hey, get on your side of the road, please, mates. Just casually nearly being killed by the van drivers of the West Midlands. We're now into an in-town section.
And you get to see how it does it at the slower speeds.
Yes. That's what I was going to say, the shocks in this, it means that now when you do belt it up to the higher speeds, it actually feels really secure in the road, it feels confident. Ooh, nearly stalled it.
You've got to give it quite a lot of rest.
Yeah, because new clutch in this, isn't it?
Newish, but what the big problem is with the spacing between the supercharger and the inlet manifold, it's just that little gap of, you've got to give it a bit of revs so you've got the airflow.
I love how direct the steering is in this. It's I'm coming up to me right about now, but for God's sake, got all the worst drivers today, honestly. Everything about an MX5, and this is one of the things, if people say to me, I want a beginner sports car, what should I get? MX5 is always the best answer. I think the NB is generally the better of the two because the NA is a bit too expensive now, and yes, pop headlights are great, but I think the NB looks a lot better. But I also find that it just seems to have a little bit more power. The engines are a little bit peppier. It seems a little bit more eager to rev. I don't know if it's the same engine, but all these, and then again, I do know this engine, it's the BP something or other.
Yeah.
The belts tend to stretch on them. So you can often find a lot of times they don't have much power because the belts have stretched, it's gone slightly out of time. So that might be why all the NAs I've driven feel so slow.
Yeah, but it's not an interference engine. So,
no, so you can do that and it'll be fine.
You'll be fine. It won't damage the engine too much, but
again, I am now just praying that we can have a vehicle that does have air conditioning because I am sweating profusely. Oh, we got some kids. Oh, they're a big fan of that. It is a really fun little noise as well. The supercharger as well. It's not over the top, like incredibly in your face, but you do just get that little rasp of it as you're giving it a bit of the beans.
Line of a supercharger, rasp of the exhaust.
Yeah, it's a really lovely little noise. In fact, it was really fun in Scotland having the low down grumble of the Busso and this accompanying it. It was a good bloody noise through the hills of Scotland. I believe we're now running into traffic.
Yes.
And again, in said traffic, I just wish you had air conditioning. Oh, if I look shiny on camera, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone else in between, it's Will's fault. Oh God. This is the fun thing the problem is, right, when people buy sports cars new, when they buy convertibles new, every man that buys a convertible sees the option for air conditioning goes, oh, I don't need that, I'll just have the roof down.
Well,
you're wrong. You're wrong. Buy the air conditioning for f***'s sake. Because when I buy it second hand, I'm dying here. I don't care if it reduces weight and reduces cost. I like air conditioning. I like not melting.
I might. I've never needed it.
I pulled off without stalling. I want to put it, the Transit I drove out here in today, I'd stalled that twice. Very embarrassing. I will say one thing I do notice with this is the second you come off the throttle, it just kind of lurches a bit.
Yes.
Which you kind of, I guess you could, you know,
Sit on the clutch a little longer.
sit on the clutch a little bit longer, or you know, be. Again, I'm taking my foot off the pedal quite smoothly there. It still kind of just goes. Whew. So that does make it a little bit sort of jarring about town, which is fine.
I found I've managed to eliminate that just by learning the car.
I mean, you will. It's one of the sort of things that, you know, you get used to driving the car a certain way. It's like with my Alpha, the brakes are naff. Well, fun story on that.
Brakes are a suggestion?
Well, I replaced the pads recently and all the fluid. I did a full change.
Yes.
The fluid, by the way, that came out looked like coffee. Not good. And Abby's brother, who's a mechanic, test drove it, came back and said, these brakes are terrible. I got it, went, no, that's how they normally feel. That's just Alpha brakes. So that's embarrassing. But yeah, it's one of those things I think you do get used to with the specific car. We're now getting to some slightly bumpier roads. I am noticing it is a bit more unsettled than, say, you know, a Rolls Royce.
What I'm going to say, because it's weighted and balanced for me.
Yeah, actually, that is a fair point. So,
Me and no passengers.
yeah. But at the same time, I will say it's not. You notice the bumps, but it's not painful. It doesn't.
Yeah, but, that's why I went for the suspension, because everyone said that it's good, it's not over the top.
Yeah. I quite like as well as while you are feeling all the bumps in the road, it's not throwing the car about in an unpredictable way. The car still very much it bumps around, it bounces around, but it's still very much no. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. It's just, you know, it feels quite light and spry on its feet. And as it is in England, when you've got a nice fun road, you can't go anywhere because there's someone in a Ford Focus ahead of you. Typical. Always typical. This is a thing we have on every review. It's like, hey, what's it like to drive down this road? I don't know. There was someone in a Focus in front of me.
It's a car
It's such a lovely little car. It's got a fun little character to it. It's raspy, it's light, it's not skittish, but it's trying to think of the word. It's quite responsive.
Direct.
Yeah, it's really direct. That's the perfect word for it. You can definitely tell what the car is doing. It's one of the really lovely things about MX-5s in general is just how communicative they are. I've often said it's like if you want to learn to slide a car, get an MX-5 because it'll go sideways if you say go sideways, and it'll go straight if you tell it to go straight again. The easiest things in the world. Everything this car is doing is telegraphing to you, and I think the supercharger, the suspension, they just make that whole experience just that little bit sharper, that little, and the extra power is, it feels on my arse about 200 and 210, I'd say.
No
Region.
Scooby-Doo, haven't got a clue.
It feels about as powerful as my Alpha does with about 300 kilograms less weight, which is about what it is.
This weighs with me and 3/4 tank 1,100 kilos.
Yeah, so it feels like it's got about 200 horsepower in a car that's not very heavy. Heavier than MR2, I will point out, just saying, you know, MR2 is superior.
Snap oversteer.
I only went into a hedge once.
More than enough.
There's a reason why MX-5s have hype. And I'm aware this video may not get that many clicks or views because everyone goes, oh, it's another MX-5. No, they're good. There's a reason why people like them. There's a reason why they sold in the numbers they did. They're just really good. And Mazda really pulled something out of the bag with this, because I want to point out when the MX-5 first came out, sports cars were dying off big time. The juggernauts who made sports cars for decades were killing them off because they just couldn't make money on them. Hot hatches were the way to go. And Mazda looked at Italian and British sports cars and went, what if we did that but better? And they did, and this is what the result of it is, and it works fantastically.
And even the Honda Dassault, they tried to make that as competitiveness, but they couldn't get to it. They just couldn't hit the mark the MX-5 did.
Exactly. It's the MX-5. Just they seem to find the force. they tapped into the market just perfectly, and it really goes to show in the sales numbers and the fact that this has had, you know, 4 generations. I think they are coming. They have just said they're going to do a 5th. Yeah.
Coming out.
I mean, technically they have had 5 generations because the 124, the Fiat, which it's hilarious to think that a car that was based on, you know, Italian and British sports cars is now also being directly taken and brought up to be an Italian sports car.
The Bath, isn't it?
Yes, the Bath and the Fiat is.
They're the same car.
Yeah, same car, different. I think it's the same engine but different tune. God, it revs quickly. The fun thing as well is I'm not actually going ballistically fast. It feels like you're going a million, doesn't it? It feels.
Yeah, because you're so low to the ground.
You're so low to the ground, and it's so light. And the thing is, I've said this before with older cars, because they're not as soundproof and whatever, you get the wind noise. It feels like you're going really fast. You look down the speedo, you're doing 45. Even with the extra power, it's still like it's a car that you can really enjoy at low speeds. Like I said, the power, I think, doesn't make it so you have to be on it to enjoy it. The power means it's just a little bit more enjoyable all of the time. It's a fantastic little thing. I just wish I'd fit in them. Because,
yeah.
again,
some people do, some people don't.
Like,
I feel like I'm just perfect and I
yeah.
drive.
If you look, my arm doesn't even fit in that gap there. But it's, oh, I was nearly about to shoot past the pub there. But yeah, that's the first of our, I don't know what we're going to call these, Twinspark One takes, or I don't know, the
One Shots,
the quick drives or whatever. The one, yeah, we'll figure out a name by the time it's uploaded. Joe, edit in whatever I come up with now. But yeah, that's the first one. If you want to get your car on one of these, let me know ahead of time before you come to one of the meets, and we can look to organising one for you. Anyway, thank you very much, Will, for letting me drive your MX-5. I have no idea when this video will go up. I've got no idea if the audio is going to be usable because we've had to have the windows down just so I don't melt. But yeah, I'm Welsh. I'm not built for heat. But that was bloody warm.
What side am I parking on then?
I don't know. I'm going to park wherever Joe tells me. Anyway, thank you very much for that. And yeah, hope to see you all next time.